and Tim Onlu goes over a tenth of a second fast.
Good afternoon, everyone, or evening, depending on where you are, evening for me, and welcome to Formula Trout League Round 3 in the Premier Series. We are here watching the Challenger Split race of the Premier Series at Zandvoort in the Netherlands. We are currently on board with Darian Schikloven. I am Alex Cochran, and I am joined by the race director, Christoph.
Good evening, everyone. Nice to be here at Zandvoort Circuit.
Now, there's only 6 minutes 25 seconds left to qualifying. Apparently there's a red flag, a yellow flag I should say, in the pit lanes. Not 100% sure what that is, but currently Schikloven is on pole with a 109.4. The track is not fully rubbered in yet, so the times will probably come down, but there's a car off there as he comes around. He is on a hot lap, so we'll see what his lap time is, if he can improve. There's a big snap of oversteer on the exit. But yeah, I was literally just about to say, this track, Zandvoort, it's a very, very difficult track to drive in these Formula 1, Formula Alpha cars, Formula 1 inspired cars, of course. There's more traffic there as he comes into the last corner. Yeah, it's a very high speed track, but the middle sector is very higgledy-piggledy with corners where you really have to brake and get on the power and do everything at the same time. He comes into the pit lane, so he aborts that lap due to the slide, I imagine. Yeah, it's a very tricky track to drive, as Schikloven just showed, losing the rear in one of those higgledy-piggledy corners, and yeah, nearly got away with it, managed to save it, but you know, he backed out of the lap. But as we're on board with Moscato here as well, you can see a big slide into that new banked corner. The track was resurfaced, completely reprofiled in sections in, I think, 2020 it was, but due to the worldwide pandemic, the race in real Formula 1 was delayed, not until 2021. We actually ran this circuit back in Season 7 in 2020. We have the luxury in sim racing of being able to run these circuits, and it wasn't a bad race then. The car, we used the RSS Formula Hybrid 2021X, I think it was called at the time. It's now the 2022X. And not to be confused with their 2022 car, and not to be confused with this Formula Alpha, which is all based on the same regulations. But it was a good race back then, and I'm sure we'll see a good race here today as well.
Alex, may you share your screen so I know what we are looking at?
Yeah, that would be very useful. Sorry about that, Christoph.
Don't worry.
Diogo Moscato comes into the pits. Probably got the pronunciation wrong, but it was just 4 minutes of qualifying left. We're on board with Spencer Owen, following Spencer Owens, coming out the pit lane as his teammate, I believe, is just on a hot lap behind. Yeah, that's Mason Owens, his brother. As he's off at the banked hairpin there, turn 3. Easy to get it wrong. That's definitely not a legal lap, so he must be on an in-lap, or maybe just made a little error and he's going to back out of it. Dolciotti's off in the middle sector. Very easy to get it wrong there. Get on that curb, you can just see in the foreground, and it can just spit you out like it just did to Dolciotti, I'm guessing. Put him in the wall. As he's off again, actually getting out of the way of one of the Supernal cars, one of his sister team's cars. So he probably will be able to do another lap. But here we are again, following our current pole sitter, Darian Schikloven. Is again getting as the car in front goes off. I was going to say he was getting traffic. I don't know if he's on an out lap or this is his in lap. If you look at the sector times, he's only 2/10 down, so this is definitely a hot lap. It looks like he was being impeded then. Yes, I am streaming for you now, Christoph. Hopefully you can see.
Yes, you are. Yes, I see it.
Very good.
There's
a car off there. Cars off everywhere.
It's a really short circuit. The lap time's only is less than 1 minute 10, 1 minute 9. We're looking at potentially. So 20 cars on the track, it's pretty full and hard to find a gap. So if you mess up your lap, you really gotta jump out of the way to not beat the
Yeah.
next guy behind you.
Yeah, because we just saw Darian come back into the pits then again. He was on a hot lap, got impeded the lap before, came in, and then exactly the same just happened. But as you say, 1 minute 10 lap time, 2 minutes 30 left. That can easily allow you to get 1, maybe 2 laps in if you have enough charge in the battery. So, you know, he's not improved from his 1:09, 4:11, but full time yet. Still 2 minutes 15 seconds. We're on board with Moscato again. He's on an out lap here, actually, I think. As a 2-0. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce this, I'm afraid. 2-0 Mailer? 2-0 Mailer? I don't know. He just set a fast lap and returned to the pit, so that is his session over. Here in Formula Trout, you are not allowed to return to the pits. You know, you're supposed to do an in-lap, so he's not going to be coming out again. But one of the Owens brothers is off just where Dolciotti was off before. We can see what Christoph said. It's a short lap, easy to get in the way. As he rejoins the track, 2 cars right behind him. They might be on in-laps, they might be on out-laps. It's hard to tell, but if he's impeded them, it's not what you want to do for yourself, and obviously it's going to frustrate them as well. That's the yellow flag for Stoian in the first sector. Yeah, everyone's really struggling with lap times here. Keeping it on the track, I heard a car just spin in front of Shkloven there. He's about to start his lap. We'll go on board for his final potentially his final hot lap. 1 minute 15 to go, so probably won't have enough time to set another lap. He's down the main straight. The DRS board has been moved further forwards as it was in Imola due to the immense power of the DRS in this car, but into turn 1, gets it out nicely, runs it right to the exit curb, comes into turn 2, very fast kink into the reprofile turn 3. Very, very large banking. It's a hairpin in a way, but the banking is unbelievable. It's not a typical Formula 1 corner whatsoever, and now through these sweepers, completely flat out in a Formula 1 car. Very bumpy, as you can see, his car porpoising into the fast right-hander. There's a pair of fast right-handers here. This one's a bit slower. You have to brake, you have to get that gear down. Don't touch the curb or you'll go wide like Dolciotti did. The middle sector, these higgledy-piggledy corners I was talking about. Bit of traffic on the inside, but it's okay. Misses the apex there and almost gets on the gravel. Very similar to some of the corners at Silverstone. Touch the gravel, run wide, and you can just throw the lap time away. But nice through this medium speed chicane just into the last sector. And then here is one of the most changed part of the track. You've got the Bass corner, which is about the same, and then this huge banking, almost a NASCAR style corner designed to slingshot the cars onto this final straight. 3 seconds, 2 seconds on the time. He will actually be able to do another lap, I think, but yeah. So he's improved 109.3. I think he's backed out of this lap anyway, so he did improve, but he's maybe not safe. Oh, Moscato just gets into another car there.
Oh boy.
I don't know if you saw that there, Christoph, but Moscato was coming around that turn 3, the bank turn 3, and on the exit was one of the Supernal cars, and as we just switched to his onboard, he came together with them. I really don't know what happened then, but that's going to be his qualifying ruined. It's going to be P2 for Moscato, I believe, unless someone can jump him. Yeah, that was Spencer Owens in front of him, who's currently in P3. I'm not going to claim it was a tactical thing, but you know, obviously it's not really worked out for either of them coming together. P4, P5, P6, all in the pit lanes. Dolciotti has finished his final lap. We'll switch on board with James K. I think he's on an in lap. Yeah, this looks a slow lap.
Yeah.
Mason Owens, he could improve, 3/10 down currently, but he's definitely pushing and there's plenty of space to make up the time. Gets the apex there in the middle sector where Shkloven missed. He improved on his lap, so you know, there's still chance for him to definitely get up there, though he is taking it a bit easy. He's pushing too hard. Although then again, maybe Smooth is fast and he's still on a fast lap, I don't know. Oh, no, yeah, that's it. That's it over. Was not on a fast lap. Out of time to set a hot lap, unfortunately. So, on pole we have Darian Shkloven once again, I believe. He was on pole last time out. Then Diogo Moscato. Probably not how you pronounce it, but I'm going to go with it. In P2, just a 10th behind. And Spencer Owens P3. He was really rapid in practice, did lots and lots of work to try and get the lap times in, and clearly showed P3 is a great starting position for him in the Supernal. Noah in P5, and then Columba Griffiths, who has the wrong name unfortunately, but in P5, and then Anthony Penn, who has returned after a few races out, is in P6. The cars are now on the grid. Christoph, remember to reset back to pits.
It is. Yes, I will be in the pits shortly. Do not
Yeah,
worry
very,
about
very
me.
short time on the grid here. The lights are on already. 3, 4, 5, the 6 of Assetto Corsa. Schikloven on pole. Gets away well in front of the rest of the field. Ooh, goes to cover the inside. Does not need to cover the inside, but then... Oh, the big lock up there. And Moscato's through. Ooh, there's a crash in the back there. Big
As
crash from the
5
back.
cars off, I think it's
5.
going to be a red flag.
Oh, yeah, there's a crash further up the field, so this will be a red flag. And what a huge crash at turn 3. Yeah, that's going to be a definite restart. We will just restart the session. Huge crash in turn 1 and turn 3, separate incidents. So we said the track is tough. It was definitely a big crash there. But yeah, thankfully, in Assetto Corsa, we can reset with minimal damage to, well, no damage to any of the cars, like there would be in real life. So again, we are here for the start at Zandvoort.
Getting the T cars out like back in the 2000s.
Exactly. So once again, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights. Will Moscato get in front once again? A good start again for Darian. They pull away from the grid. Does he cover the inside this time? No, he's got an even better start than before. One of the Supernal cars. Whoa, big lockup and a big crash again. Car off in the foreground there. Race director will let us know if it's a red flag.
No, I think not.
But at the front
this
here,
far.
we have Diogo in P2, Schikloven in P1 holding it. One of the Owens brothers, Spencer, dropped to P5 from the start. So Tuomela and Penn are both up. Great start for Penn, coming from P3 to P6 to P4. Cloven 4/10 here, so definitely not safe. We've seen some drivers run away literally in lap 1, get maybe a second gap, but Gato's keeping him honest so far. We come down one of the first short straights here at Zandvoort. Cars filter through, no one able to make a move here. It is super hard to make a pass. A track like this, we do have the DRS, which will be enabled on lap 3, which will aid and see the field close back together. But these first few laps, this car's pushing as fast as they can, as hard as they can, to try get that 1 second gap to not have the DRS. You see one of the Supernal cars going down the inside. That is Spencer Owens. Almost came together there with Penn. Drops back behind him. Wasn't able to make the move. I thought just for a moment there was going to be contact there. I heard Christoph maybe think there was going to be contact as well, but yeah, managed to stay out of it. But he's right on his tail already, right on his gearbox, not able to make moves through here. You can see the high speed right-hander just going to have to sit behind and wait for them to make a mistake. Oh, but out in front, I wonder if Darian made a mistake, but they're all within 0.7 of a second. P1, P2, P3. Darian keeps a cool head so far in these opening laps, staying in front, but definitely got a race on his hands. Last race round at Imola, he kind of ran away with it. I think he had a 40-second gap at the end of the race, but we'll see how this is going to go. Moscato is just 0.5 behind still. Oh, and in the background we can see Penn and Owens again going for a move. Looks like he's further ahead than he was last time. Penn is still on the outside. Does manage to hold on once again. So that inside line for Owens is not working out. He tried to make the move last lap. Tried to make the move this lap. But Penn just gets a good exit and just manages to stay in front. In the turn 2 afterwards, no way you can make a move there. So very good defensive driving in a way, you know, not defending unnecessarily, making him have the outside line for that turn 2. Out at front, still within 6-7 for these top 3. Tuomela is just behind Moscato, and then Schikloven is, Moscato is just behind Schikloven. DRS will be enabled this lap, I think. Will he have DRS? Yeah, so DRS is now open for these front 3 cars. Schikloven, leading of the trio, will not have the DRS. Obviously, no car in front of him. You have to be within 1 second of a car. It's designed to gain the extra time that you lose with the dirty air. Ooh, there's a car making a mistake in the background. I think that could have been Columba Griffiths, who's made a mistake in the Griffin Red.
He did. He did. I can give you. I can tell you that.
Here's
Let's-
Moscato going to the inside with the DRS. Well, didn't even have the DRS because it's been moved further back. Got the move done before the DRS, and the extra helping hand of the DRS allowed him to take the lead in front of Shikloven. Shikloven now P2. Moscato reclaims, well, doesn't reclaim that lead, takes the lead. Shikloven loses the lead after setting pole position at the start of the race. Well, in qualifying. It's definitely not over because Shikloven will have the DRS now on the next straight. Got a yellow flag further back for Knowles. He's gone off at turn 1, unfortunately. Now there's battles all over the field, but at the moment we're focusing on this lead group of 3 cars. Maybe it's going to be 4 or 5 cars here because they're all within 2 seconds of each other. Don't have time to think. Yeah, here's this DRS once again open for Shikloven this time. Moscato is the one without the DRS, not able to make the move into that straight, but just allows you to keep that ever bit closer, and then you can stay close through that final corner and get the slingshot through the fast banked corner, completely flat out. Very, very easy corner, but you get a good exit through there and you can definitely have a move down to the next straight. Tuomela's closer to Shikloven here, so maybe he's going to lose P2. Yeah, so as they go side by side. Oh, Shikloven locks up. Oh, and they touch.
Nope.
Shikloven locked up into turn 1, went a little wide, cut across there, and then Owens just went into his gearbox, or Penn as well. That's Owens and Penn as swap positions, I think, but they're very, very close as we ride on board with Penn. It backs out through these sweepers, no way you can make the move. Yeah, disaster for Shikloven, P1 to P3 in just 3 laps. Said he was keeping a cool head, but it's easy just to get overwhelmed, get into contact with others of the cars, and it's just dropped him back 1.5 seconds. Meanwhile, Moscato out in front has built that 1 second gap to Tuomela already. Will not be helping. Well, Tuomela will not have the DRS this time around, and will not be closing down this straight. Might not have the speed to make the move into turn 1 unless Moscato makes an error. Further back though, Shikloven, who did make the error, is now within 4/10 of Owen is now within 4/10 of him, so he will have the DRS this time around. I don't think he'll be making the move, but never say never. I didn't think that last time around and he lost the position. No, so manages to stay in P3. Was a car off there. That is Ignace in P18. Unfortunately, I just thought I should note, some of our drivers are in the wrong cars today. Oh, it's Tuomela's made a mistake. Ooh, almost came together with another car there. Luca Dolciotti right behind him. Looks to... Ooh, almost shut the door there. Backed out of that one. Yeah, Tuomela makes a mistake from P2. Drops down into P6 there. So Shikloven back into P2. Owens now on the podium. Yeah, what was I saying? Yes, some of our cars are unfortunately in the wrong cars today. Some of our drivers are in the wrong cars today. Due to an administrative error, and in the world of sim racing, that means some of our liveries get mixed up. We attempted to solve the issue, but you know, we wanted to get the race underway for these guys. You know, they've waited 2 weeks since the last round, and they want to get underway, so we just got going as we are, and they're putting on a great show for us so far. Anyway,
So a lot has happened in the first 6 laps, but there's still 40 laps to go. So
yeah, it's a very,
it is
very
going to
long
be a
round
very
here.
eventful race.
Yeah, definitely. It's a 47-lap race. Quite a short circuit, but a very technical circuit. And as we've seen, so many drivers making mistakes. Tuomela in P6 now. Dolciotti dropped back a little more. Stoyan has actually managed to overtake Dolciotti. We missed that, unfortunately. Yeah, there is small gaps all over the field. Shikloven and Owens are within a second, and Penn is just 9/10 behind Owens as well. So that race for that podium is on, and will probably be throughout the race, I'm going to guess. We follow Diogo Moscato as a 3.3 second lead. He's actually catching some of the drivers that got involved in incidents earlier on. Yellow flag for Pangiotopoulos at turn 3. Looks like he made a similar error to what Tuomela did, and gets it pointing in the straight line again. Yeah, has a bit of a problem there. It's dropping 18 seconds to the next car, well outside the points now. Anthony Penn has dropped back a little bit from Owens, but Owens further ahead is within 5/10 of Chikloven, so he's been catching, and he was, you know, he's making some moves earlier on. Owens made some move on Penn, managed to get it done in the end, so would he be able to get it done on Chikloven and then maybe start closing into the lead? We will see. Now, I'm not 100% on the strategies we're going to see here. It's not a thing we've talked about yet, actually, is the tyres everyone's on. As actually we see, there is quite a mix of tyres this time, and unlike Imola, where pretty much everyone ran the C3 to C2, we've got a big mix of C3 and C2 runners here. Moscato in P1 is on that C3 tyre, the softer C3. But Chikloven, Owens, they're on the C2, so they're definitely going to be wanting to go longer. Importantly, Penn in P4, who is currently hassling Owens for that podium position, is on the C3, so he maybe is a bit faster at the moment with those tyres, but will that last? We will see. Not sure if you know if there's any alternate strategies, maybe a two-stop Christoph people are going to be thinking about?
They could try, but I think the one-stop is the strategy we'll see the most today, because, well, it depends if you can overtake or not, which is yet to be seen, but obviously you can overtake. So if the two-stop should be faster, I'm pretty sure someone will attempt it.
Yeah, you certainly...
But yeah.
Go on, sorry.
No, nothing, I'm done.
And you can overtake. We saw Owens make a few moves earlier on. P3, just 3/10 behind Chikloven for P2. Moscato in front, still pulling away. Owens is really going to want to clear Chikloven if he's trying to catch, you know, trying to fight for the lead, which obviously he will be. He is a racing driver after all. But will he be able to make that move? You know, Christoph said, will there be overtakes? He has overtaken, but it's so hard to follow. He's got the DRS this time around, but 6/10, how much will he close into the braking zone? 5/10, so closes a tenth, closes a maybe a car length or so. But then you've got a high-speed right-hander here, easy to run it wide. You don't want to do that. You're going to be taking it easy in the dirty air, and you just can't get that slingshot that, you know, this final corner's designed. But he is close, actually. He is just within 4/10, and he will have the DRS this time around. On board with Owens here, looks to the inside. Chikloven leaves the door open. Chikloven is now P3. Is he able to fight it back? No, Owens up into P2. Sorry, Moscato just set fastest lap that time around as well, which is why I got a little muddled up. But yeah, great move for Owens there. Said he might be able to make a move, and he did. Chikloven P3, Owens P2, and now Penn, those two battling in front, is right on the back of Chikloven. He was there, you know, getting just within second, just behind a second, but now he's just 4/10 to Chikloven, so maybe Chikloven's going to drop back even more. Was the winner last time out, of course. As Owens actually locks the rears there by the looks of things, but managed to keep it going okay. But Chikloven might actually be able to come back at him. All cars run a little wide. I was going to say Owens runs a little wide, but all of them followed him exactly the same. Penn behind, looks to the inside. Nothing able to do in a corner like that, but he is very, very close. On board with Penn here into the last corner. Last time round it was Owens getting past Chikloven. Will Penn be able to get round Chikloven here? No, as I said before, you know, it's hard to follow through that last corner. You want to be careful not to run wide, and you can just ruin your exit, as Penn just did exactly what I said. What I said. And runs deep there as well, so Penn is pushing very hard. He's on those softer C3 tyres, maybe just trying to get past. Bit of desperation potentially, you know. His strategy will, well, I suppose he is going to be running on those C2s, hopefully in clear air, but if you get stuck in traffic, it's going to kind of ruin your race. And Moscato out in front, 5 seconds now to Owens, so Owens is going to really try to bring that gap down, I'm sure. Now James Kay is now pitting from P10 now into P11, but not 100% what tyres he was on. Maybe you can tell us, Christoph.
James K. I don't know what tire he was on, but I can tell you what tire he's going to be on. James K is now on the C3 tire, if my screen
That must be a two-stop then.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe he had damage, because we saw some people off the track a little bit. Maybe he touched the wall somewhere.
Yeah, it's a very early pit stop if he is doing a one stop. You know, the C3s are not going to last 35 laps, so it must be a two stop now. Don't know if he was on the C3s before or the C2s and he had damage, as you said. But Penn is still trying to just get past Chikloven. He's, you know, on those soft tyres. As Kay just pitted, maybe those tyres are on their way out. Isn't going to want to be following, overheating them, making it just that bit trickier to drive. Just for note, I believe Penn, correct me if I'm wrong, Christoph, as the owner of Griffin Red, Penn is replacing Kamishov this round. Kamishov, our championship leader, unfortunately cannot make this round. He was the winner at the first round. He finished on the podium last time out, but yeah, is not here at Imola, unfortunately. And Penn, who has returned, is back in his place.
No, you are wrong.
No,
Penn
I am
is
wrong.
still driving for the Horizon Racing
Apologies.
team. Ivan, who was supposed to be replacing Kamishov, unfortunately didn't make it to the race.
Oh yes,
We'll have
apologies.
internal
Yes.
discussions about that.
As I said, the liveries are a bit confused, and unfortunately Penn is in a black plane car, and I thought he was replacing Kamishov, but still stands. Kamishov is not here. No one is replacing him this time round, and Penn is returning since he was in the Master Split last season. He's come back to the Challenger Split. He was very competitive. I think he took a win in his debut Challenger Split season, so hopefully he's looking to replicate that again. Maybe, I doubt he'll be able to challenge for the championship, unfortunately, because he missed those first rounds, but hopefully can get back up and score some good results. Apparently, one of our drivers can, in the chat can hear some mic hum. I will try rectify that one moment, please. Thank you for the notification.
I already got a message. Has the stream gone black? For me it has. I don't know if you can still see it. Oh boy.
Hello. I just broke the microphone on the stream, so unfortunately we are just missing a few seconds of coverage for the stream. We'll be back shortly. Hello, Christoph. As you can see, the stream just went down and I could not hear you.
Yeah, you appear to be disconnected from the server. Is the stream still running?
Stream is still running. Hello, everyone. We're still live. Apologies for that. Yes, thank you, Thomas. We a few technical difficulties. Be back shortly. And we are back on the stream. We are following Spencer Owens. Apologies for that. The apps have also reset, which is very nice. Thank you, Assetto Corsa. So, positions remain unchanged. Owens P2, Chikloven P3, Anthony P4. As we get the apps all back in the right positions again. Streaming on Assetto Corsa, always a surprise. Right, okay, back into it. Has anything changed, Christoph? You were probably watching it a bit more closely on the live timing than I was. No, Christoph is not here, so I'm talking to myself now. Right, so anyway, Penn has actually dropped back 1.3 seconds to Chikloven during that brief interruption we just had. Meanwhile, Chikloven is still within 4/10 of Owens, so, you know, Owens managed to get the overtake done, has not managed to pull away, and crucially has not managed to close that gap to Moscato, who has gone from 5 seconds to 8 seconds. And meanwhile, Chikloven is actually even closer through this middle sector. Have the DRS this time around, see if he's able to make the move. Gets a good exit, gets a very, very tight line through there. Owens is defending the inside, moves back to the outside. Obviously, he's not going to make the move, but Chikloven closes very, very close there. And just to keep it close, runs the curve as much as he dares. 4, 5/10, maybe 4 car lengths. Car entering the pit lane to the inside won't impede, but Owens with a rocket ship straight line speed there pulls away from Chikloven behind, even though he has the DRS. So maybe, you know, lap 16, lap 17, a bit of VRS management going on. They've maybe been pushing to build that gap or to close the gap, and now they've just started to run out. We can see Owen's ERS light flashing there to indicate that he's recovering his battery into the hairpin turn, but Chikloven's still keeping it close. 3/10 now through the fast right hand kink, and again doesn't want to run wide, doesn't want to run that curb too much, but closes right up to Owens through there. Breaks a little later, misses the apex, but Owens is going to be seeing him close in the rear view mirror. Going to be that little psychological element of, ooh, he's closer than he was before, and maybe, you know, over defends, starts to panic, makes that mistake, locks up. Don't know, but see how it goes. He wasn't able to close last time around, might be able to close this time around. And comes through the final corner, running the curb. Owens in front. Good exit.
He should
again.
be close enough to pull it off. Or maybe he's not. I feel like he lost to the bank corner.
Yeah, it looks like Owens is running just that little lower aero, allows him to just have that higher straight line speed. We saw Chikloven closing in the braking zones, but then again, you know, Owens is a rocket ship in those straight lines, and just pulls that gap further down the field. Quite bigger gaps now have formed. A few drivers just managing to pull away from their competitors. Moscato must have made a little mistake actually, because that's only a 6.4 second gap there, so he's lost 2 seconds roughly to Owens and Chikloven, and they're both definitely pushing quite hard. Owens trying to build the gap, Chikloven's trying to stay close. It's close again, has the DRS again, but I don't think he's going to be able to make a move.
I think that straight is too short. I mean, you catch up, but then you're like right at the gearbox of the car ahead, and you have to back out of braking even sooner because of the dirty air. That still is, it's not as bad as previously, but
yeah,
it still exists.
It's the dirty air isn't as strong, and as you say, I don't think that straight is even designed for you to overtake. It's just designed to keep the cars close. That middle sector is very hard with the dirty air. It's very hard to follow, and the DRS drag reduction system is supposed to eliminate the effect of the dirty air and, you know, equalize the distances between the cars as if there was no dirty air. It's not actually supposed to be an overtaking age as such. As Stoyan comes into the pits, I believe was running P5, and there's a yellow flag out for Penn. I think he made a mistake at turn 3 there at the banked corner. He's got it going again, didn't lose any positions, but yeah, look at that, 10 seconds to Chikloven, so he's dropped back miles. He was right on the tail of those two before. Oh, there's Carla off turn 1 there. Not sure who it was. Oh, Alexander Kron has DNF'd from the race. Yeah, so that's Kron, who was qualified quite well, I believe. It's out of the race. I think he was involved in that first lap incident, unfortunately. We'll see what's going on now. Ooh, further back we have a three-way battle here. We've got Kilgore Trout, the league owner, who is actually participating in this round. He participated last time out as well, but unfortunately was involved in an early lap 1 collision, or lap 2 collision I think it was. Yeah, there's a group of 3 cars here. Anderson, Owens and Trout all battling. Anderson on the outside, Mason Owens on the inside, and gets through. Trout drops back a little bit, but yeah, good move for Owens there. Will definitely be wanting to make up the speed because he's a very fast driver, no doubt about it. So to see him, you know, down in P12 outside the points is quite a surprise. In P4 now, Penn is pitting, so it might be quite interesting to watch this, because Penn, although had a 10-second gap, depending what the guys out in front are doing, he might slowly start reeling them in. You know, the undercut can be strong here. It was quite a strategic race. Last time we raced here with, you know, 2 different strategies, a 2-stop and a 1-stop. Ultimately, I believe that 2-stop was faster that time round. But Penn exits the pit out in P5, so has a bit of clear track in front of him. Dolciotti is quite far from him, so apart from the traffic, which shouldn't impede him too much because they are supposed to get out of the way with the blue flags, he might definitely have a chance to close the gap to P2 and P3, get that on that podium positions. But meanwhile, out in front, Chikloven and Owens getting past some of the traffic. Owens still in front, but still just 5 tenths, less than 5 tenths between them. Neither of them are reacting to Dolciotti. Neither of them are reacting to Penn, although Moscato, our leader, is actually in the pit, so he is reacting, I believe, He was on the C3 tyre, that softer tyre, so he's going to need to pit earlier anyway. These two guys on the C2 tyre will be able to go longer, and should go longer, unless they're going to run some real funky strategy. Cloven is now P2. Owens has inherited the lead of the race, but you know, the net leader is still Moscato and is still only in P3 after that pit stop, so it shows the gap he has to the rest of the field. In Columba comes down the inside of Penn. This is disaster for Penn. Just said that Penn was going to want to pull away on that new fresh tyres. I don't know if he made a mistake, but that's allowed Columba to get back in front. Well, Columba to get in front. Penn was going to be wanting to try do that undercut. That's not going to work out when you have a car in front of you.
I think Columba, I mean, I'm not in direct radio contact with him, but he started on the C3 tyre and he's again on the C3 tyre, so he's trying out the two-stop apparently, as he has to pit again.
I'm not sure if he's pitted yet. No, Columba has not pitted yet. So he is actually on the C3s, according to our
Yes, he did. He did six laps ago.
Oh, 6 laps ago. Okay, definitely a two-stop then. Yeah, you're right. So Columba on those C3s overtaking Penn. Disaster for Penn. It's not what he wants. Chikloven has dropped back from Owens 6/10 or so. Just dropped outside the DRS. Might allow Owens to start pulling away once again. Once you get out that DRS, you stop getting that helping hand, and then... Oh, who's that off? Oh, Mason Owens, his teammate, off at the first of the higgledy-piggledy corners.
Higgledy-piggledy corners.
Makes an error. As I said, he was a very fast driver, but has made an error there. Dropped back. Quite a shame, because he's, you know, like I said, he's a fast driver. Down in P12 is not where he'd want to be. Definitely not where we like him to be. Not where we like any driver to be. We want to see every driver battling for the lead. But, oh, Moscato's made a mistake. Our leader, our net leader, who had just pitted, has made a mistake. There was traffic on the exit there, so I'm not sure if he spun in avoidance or got in contact, or he has just, you know, just dropped it on the exit. He has those fresh tyres. He's going to have that bit extra grip, maybe pushing, and just makes that error. So that's 25 seconds to Chikloven, 26 seconds to Owens. Don't know how long a pit stop's going to take, but that's going to put him under threat from the two at the front when they do eventually pit on those C2 tyres. Yeah, so Mason, unfortunately, is out of the race after that error. You know, he said he was in P12, not where he'd want to be, and yeah, maybe he's just, you know, there's no way he can improve, there's no way he feels he can get that good result, or maybe he just had damage, and yeah, unfortunately he is now out of the race, leaving Spencer Owens, his brother, as one of the remaining supernal cars. He is currently leading the race, so vastly different fortunes for the two drivers. Cloven has dropped outside the DRS, but he is staying within that 1 second. So, as I said, the DRS is not an overtaking aid, it's a dirty air reduction in a way, and it's kind of showing. Chikloven's dropped outside that second, the dirty air's dropped off, and now he is still managing to keep up, so it shows that the DRS does work as intended around here. See what battles we have on track now. Nothing as such. The closest cars are Crucifier and Penn. The car between them, I think, their lapped car, that is, will hopefully get out of the way. I don't know what's going on there. The lapped car is defending Penn for some reason. This is an absolute disaster for Penn, actually. Penn pitted on those tyres, tried to undercut the leaders, P2, P3, and it's just getting held up by traffic here. Not sure who that is, but not very good to see. Looks like the blue flagged car was looking at the inside there. I thought he was going to try go for a dive bomb on Penn there. So Penn's lost out to Crucify there. Columba there. Apologies. Columba Griffiths. Our usual. Yes, that's the one. Griffin Red Driver has not changed his name, which is not allowed. But you know, his race name is currently Columba the Crucifier, which isn't his name. Carlos. Yes, we'll keep that quiet. We'll keep that quiet for you, Columba. Don't worry. But yeah, Penn dropping back from him there. It's definitely not what he wants. He's going to just ruin his race in a way. You know, that his whole race is going to depend on that undercut to try and get in front of those two cars. If he can't get the undercut, it's unlikely he's going to be able to overtake them again without a mistake. Those two cars out in front are just running pretty solid races so far. 1.5 seconds gap. Owens to Shkloven now. Extending that gap a little bit. Moscato behind. 1:13.3. Not sure how the lap times compare. 23 seconds. So he has closed a little bit on those fresh tyres, which you would expect, but that spin might have just ruined. Well, not ruined. He's still very, very good chance at the win, but a very solid chance, and now that's just slipped away a little tiny bit. See how it is when these C2 runners do find a pit on those C3s. Owen is within a second again, so Owen really pushing hard to try to close the Spencer. Spencer made a little error, and it has allowed him to get back within the DRS.
Maybe he is pushing as hard as he can, but like looking at the lap times, Spencer and Darian are doing high 13s, or Darian did
Low
a 13 dead. 13 dead, and Diogo is just doing 13.3, so at this rate he's not even catching him on fresh tires.
Yeah,
by the looks of
definitely.
it.
So Moscato on those C2s is going to hopefully go to the end of the race, and you know, Owens and Shkloven are on old C2s, having started on that tyre, so you'd expect them to be maybe 5-6 tenths slower, but these two out in front are actually managing to keep pace with Moscato. Oh, as Dolciotti, oh sorry, I thought you made a mistake there. Dolciotti comes into the pit lane from P4, see where he comes out, but oh, I think Shkloven's made an error. Yeah, 2.5 seconds to Owens, so Shkloven, just as we switched away to Dolciotti there, must have made a mistake in the higgledy-piggledy corner. If you want to give me the corner number for that, Christoph, I will stop saying higgledy-piggledy corner.
Okay, I'll look it up. Give me a minute.
Yeah, Shkloven makes a mistake in one of those corners and has dropped back 2.5 seconds. I think he might... I was going to say he might pit, but it's 22 laps to the end. I doubt he's going to be able to take those C3 tyres. Oh, but Owens pits in front. So Owens comes into the pit lane from the lead. He's currently on those C2 tyres. 26 laps, 21 laps remaining.
It's either going to be C1 till the end, or it is probably going to be a two-stop.
But here we are, following Moscato here. Will Owens come out in front? We saw Owens pushing very hard, Moscato pushing hard but making the mistakes. He's set a fast lap time this time around 1:12.1. Where is Owens? Neck and neck at the pit lane. Looks like Moscato has the fresh tyre, well, has the warm tyres, manages to get out in front, and Owens is on those C1s, I think they are, the blue wall tyres,
Yes.
which we haven't seen this season. So Owens, maybe his engineer, which I feel like could be his brother Mason Owens, who was retired from the race, might be giving him some pointers and, you know, just saying, if you pit now, you might have the chance at the win. Bit of a different strategy, but those C3s would not take him to the end of the race. So he's had to go on those C1 tyres, the super hard C1 tyres, and just see how they take him. He did come out right neck and neck with Moscato, but Moscato retains, well, not the lead, because Shkloven is yet to pit in front, but he retains position in front of Owens, as was before the pit stops. Much closer though. We were looking at a 10-second gap before, and now it is just 1.5. But Shkloven out in front, who was leading Owens. No, he wasn't. He was behind Owens. So he is pitting now, reacting to Owens behind. We can see Moscato and Owens behind. Yeah, he actually... Shkloven gets the lead, so with an overcut, a very, very big overcut, came into the pits, was behind Owens, was behind Moscato earlier on during the race, and is now in front by 4.1 seconds, so a great strategy call from Shkloven. Must have pushed very hard on that in-lap. Maybe, you know, push the pit lane speed limiter just that bit further and managed to get that lead in front. So Shkloven is now our net leader in front of Moscato, in front of Owens, by quite the margin, 3.6 seconds. Sorry to our Moscato fan in the chat. I think it's Thomas. He is currently dropped into P2. Shkloven has took the lead. It's turn 9 according to Stephen Hepner. Thank you, Stephen. Turn 9 is the higgledy-piggledy corner, so it is now turn 9.
Higgledy-piggledy corner number 1. Higgledy-piggledy corner number 2 is turn 10.
Oh, okay.
I just scrolled through the logs and I think I noticed that Moscato may be having a 3-second penalty coming at him for speeding in a pit lane entry.
Oh, now that's
That could, yeah.
yeah, that's a very important thing. That's a thing we brought in this season. There is now no speeding in the pit lane. You used to be able to fly in at the full speed Assetto Corsa would allow, and it would just slow you down automatically. But this season we've brought in rules, you know, make it a bit closer to real life. Just change the procedure a little bit with the custom app developed by I think Carlos, which is, you know, great job to him. It's really what helped us for managing the league. As Owens gets right behind some traffic there, and they almost and they do touch. I think that's one of the Anderson. Yeah, so Owens gets into Anderson there. We've seen problems at that corner last time we were here. And yeah, just loses that little bit of time. Disaster. And it looks like the lapped car is going to try and overtake him here. Hopefully hangs back because Owens is the faster car. And no, the lapped car does try to own lap himself, which, you know, is fair enough, but don't impede the other car. Yeah, so Owens contact there. What is going on? Who is this lapped car? Oh, this lapped car is Anthony Penn, who got into problems earlier on. So he is definitely a fast driver, but maybe a bit impatient to be trying to unlap himself on, you know, P3, one of the fastest drivers on the track at this moment. Now he hangs back, so yeah, he's kind of thought, yeah, this is not my battle. I will hang back a little bit, but yeah, contact for Owens there. As I said, I participated in the last time out. We were here in Zandvoort, nearly had a collision at that corner. I think Christoph did have a collision at that corner. So
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't, but you almost did. So yeah, we've seen problems there with traffic. It's hard to get out the way. It's a fast corner. You know, you see the car catching you very fast behind you, and it's hard to know what to do when you have to go from the outside to the inside very quickly. You don't want to impede them, and you can just get it wrong like Anderson did there, and you actually end up in contact. We'll see what the stewards have to say if Owens reports that, if the Supernal team reports that to the stewards after the race. We might see a penalty coming Anderson's way, unfortunately. Well, maybe not unfortunately, he did make the mistake, so it would just kind of be, you know, following the procedures. But yeah, it's a shame that there was contact on track. It's just one of those things, though. In front, Shikloven 112 dead, Moscato 111.9, so a tiny bit faster for Moscato, but 3.8 seconds, 17 laps to close that gap. Lapped traffic gets out the way. So the field has spread a little bit now. We have Dolciotti and Stoian. Stoian actually worked his way up to P4, so he's been running a pretty good race so far. I think he has pitted too, so Stoian doing a good job in P4. He's you know, one of our Challenger Split champions, back in Challenger Split after a few seasons in Master, and doing a good job so far. P4. He's had a bit of an unlucky results a few times this season, a few collisions, but he's, you know, quick driver, very difficult to pass, very good racer, very, very experienced, and yeah, we'll see if Dolciotti can close up, and we'll maybe see some fireworks between these two. In front, Shikloven still leading the race at the, I think this is the Lioneers Dutch Grand Prix. Lioneers, you know, the Dutch team sponsoring their home round in a way, part of the Oxygen family. You can see some of their sponsors around the edge of the track. Oxygen E, I'm still not 100% on the pronunciation, and it kind of annoys Kilgore, so it's quite funny. But yeah, it's the home race for Lioneers team. They will be participating in the Master Split race coming shortly. I think has been delayed a little bit due to the delay we had in the Master Split race, in the Challenger Split race, sorry. Yeah, Shikloven leading this round, doing a very good job of it. Strategy worked out perfectly for him and has got in front of Moscato after losing the lead in the opening stages of the race. Further up the field, further down the field, actually. Oh, Dolciotti was actually within a second of Stoian there, but he must have had a bad exit and has dropped to 1.5 seconds behind, dropped outside that DRS, so maybe a little mistake through turn 3. Seen so many drivers doing it so far this round, and now in front, Stoian with a bit of a Tokyo drift through that corner, locked the rears on entry, got it through okay, but yeah, it's the car moving around, really pushing those tyres as far as they're going to go, but that's how you be fast, that's how Yeah, that's how you get that lap time in, but not too much, or you might spin, as we saw Moscato do earlier on, and has lost the lead as a result of that. There's Stephen Fox right behind one of the Anderson pair. I don't know which one because our timing screen does not tell us, but he's just within a second of the DRS. Won't be able to make the move. I keep saying that. He might be able to make the move. Never say never. He might have the DRS, he might have full battery, and he might have low aero. We've seen stranger things happen. But no, I was correct. Anderson stays in front and actually pulled away slightly from Fox that time round. Keeps in P11 just outside the points. Is 30 seconds behind Penn, so unless there's a retirement further up the field, I don't think there'll be a move. And oh, Dolciotti must have made a mistake. He made a mistake turn 3 last time, and just out of turn 3 now he made another one because Crucifer Columba has got in front of Dolciotti into P5, so Dolciotti dropping back. He was off the track earlier and he is actually in P6, so it's not a bad result. He might be able to come back. You know, the race develops, but out in front Shkloven 7 seconds to Moscato, so got that strategy dead on, got in front, and is now leading by 7 seconds.
To be fair, Columba was racing with the name Columba Crucifier for 1 season.
Yes, back when he didn't have those requirements, I believe, he did go under that alias. So, you know, it's a nickname in a way. We can call him the Crucifier, I suppose. Bit of a aggressive nickname, but, you know, he's a very good driver. He's a very aggressive driver, having raced him in the Challenger split back in Season 7. He's challenge for the win at Melbourne back then. It was a very, very fun battle with him, so it's a shame to see him, you know, maybe not as high up as he once was, but he's still P5. Very, very respectable result for sure.
They missed out in the Master Split by a couple of tenths, not much, but the Master Split is very, very competitive at the current season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, here at Formula Trout League, we run 2 leagues, well, 2 splits in one of our leagues, which is the Premier Series. This season we're running the VRC Formula Alpha, having ran a lot of excellent RSS Formula Hybrid cars for the last few seasons. We switched this season because, you know, we had the long off-season. Drivers were really itching to get going racing again, so we switched to the VRC Formula Alpha, which is a fantastic car. Would well recommend you purchase it if you have not done already and you're a fan of Formula 1 style cars, and, you know, maybe get involved here. But yeah, we run the 2 splits. We have the Master, which is next up. This is the Challenger split, so our second split, slightly slower, but, you know, still as intense, and it gives a fair competition to all drivers. You know, you don't want maybe 5-6 seconds between drivers on the same track. There's just going to be maybe some collisions with some misunderstanding when you have that much pace difference. But the racing here is, you know, just as strong as it is in the Master Split, and yeah, both splits are very, very competitive at the moment. With in our pre-qualification at the start of the season, I think a few teams just lost out to the Master Split by a few tenths, but, you know, this not like they're running away with it in Challenger either, as we see Columba in P5 now. He was one of those drivers that were setting those amazing lap times in you know, fighting for that Master Split. So there's a good crossover for the Master and Challenger, definitely. And if you want to get involved, as I said, click the link in the description below or to the side, wherever it is nowadays, on YouTube and Twitch, and yeah, join our Discord server and sign up. We'd love to see you on the grid. Shkloven 7 seconds to Moscato still, and is getting very close to some traffic here. That is one of the Anderson brothers. Ooh, they almost, yeah, I thought he was going to turn in on him there, but that, ooh, I think that's one of the Supernal cars. Don't know which Supernal car. Could be one of the wrong cars, but that's Joel Anderson, and he runs wide there, and it's not for position. It's not for position, so I'm not sure who that is. I don't know if you can tell me, Christoph, but the 2 cars fighting pretty hard. Oh yeah, so it's Anderson in P14 is actually holding up these guys. Should be moving out the way. Oh, and they touch. The Supernal car touches the back of Anderson. We saw Anderson get involved with a little incident earlier. Once again, touches another car, trying to get out of the way that time, in fairness to him. So just misunderstanding, and as made him drop back a little bit, but yeah, it's not what you want to see again. The stewards might be interested in that a bit later on. Further up the field, Columba is now right on the tail of Stoian, and I think Penn has retired from the race, unfortunately. So Penn, who was running so strongly earlier on, made a few errors and has unfortunately dropped back and then dropped out of the race in the end. Stoian all over the road trying to defend. Manages to defend well, stays in front, but Crucifier was 1.2 seconds faster that lap as we actually ride on board with Columba here into turn 3. Goes on the outside line, tries to get the switch back, but very hard on a bank corner like this. It's easy for both cars to get a good exit, and it's easy to spin up those wheels and end up pointing the wrong direction, as Dolciotti, I believe, found out earlier on. But stays close through the sweeping right-hander. Turn 9. Higgledy-piggledy corner 1 coming up. Stays very close. Stoian drifting through there earlier, keeps it in the straight line this time. Higgledy-piggledy corner number 2, turn 10, leading onto the DRS straight. Columba will not be able to make the move this time around, I don't think. Oh, it's on the outside. They touch wheels a little bit. Columba in the grass, but actually makes the move on the inside. But does he make the move? Stoian has the inside this time round, and Columba backs out of it. He will have the DRS this time on this straight, so maybe he backed out of it just for that tactical, you know, the gamesmanship of getting that DRS. Drops back behind. Stoian will defend the inside. Yep, as he does, Columba back on the outside, tries to go round the outside of turn 1. Ooh, and they almost touch, but Columba just backs out of it. Stoian on the inside again for turn 3 and defends that perfect. Oh! Columba just loses the rear there, just backing out behind Stoian, and does make a slight tap of the wall. Car looks okay, but not 0.2 becomes 1.3 as he makes a little error, and Columba has just disappeared. Okay. Okay, Columba disappeared. We'll just brush past that. But yeah, that's very unfortunate to see, because Columba was having a great race with Stoian there and has disappeared. Thanos must be around and did his finger flick. That was odd. Okay, well that has saved Stoian for sure. He was really having to fight for that P4 and is now safely in P4 with 6 seconds to Dolciotti behind. That's going to allow Anderson to move into the points unless Columba decides to reappear, but I don't think it is. I think that's Columba phasing out of existence and phasing out of the race, unfortunately. He will be classified just, I think. No, 80% distance, so he's just missed out on classification, unfortunately. And yeah, Columba out of P5 there. We'll have to see what happened later on in the interviews if he's willing, because yeah, it's sad to see. But out in front, Chikloven, 5.7 seconds to Moscato. He's closing a little bit, 1:12.8 this time round for Darian Chikloven. A rookie for Challenger Split, setting some fantastic lap times. Moscato with a 1:11.8, so Moscato on the old tyres, but able to close up almost a second that lap. So it's not over yet. We have 8 laps remaining here at Zandvoort, and the race for the lead is still on. As we can now see, Anderson has moved into the points after Columba has phased out of existence. Ignace is 6 seconds behind him, so, you know, a mistake could happen, could shuffle that around yet. There's quite a big gaps throughout the field. Our closest pair is actually 4.7 seconds, I think, which is Marino and Tuomela. I can't pronounce these names, I'm very sorry. Noah is his name, sure though, so, you know, that's our closest battle, but 5.1 seconds is still a lot. Unless you make a mistake, that's not going to close in at least 3 or 4 laps, unless you have that huge tyre advantage. But yeah, we're down to 15 runners now here at Zandvoort after a few drivers have dropped out. Pangiotopoulos is 2 minutes and 48 seconds as he spins, unfortunately. I'm going to say that's commentator's curse as I switch to him. Unfortunately, he makes the error, lets the field through. I think that is Darian, our leader, coming through turn 3. So sorry for that, Pangiotopoulos. I'm going to blame myself on that for switching to you. Yeah, he has 2 point... Oh, there we go. The timing has fixed itself. 3.4 seconds. 34 seconds, sorry. So that is what I would expect to see. 2 minutes 54 is a bit more than it should normally show. But yeah, that was Shikloven getting past Panchas. That's not how you pronounce his name again, but, you know, unless you tell me, I don't know. Moscato 5.9 seconds behind, so keeping about the same gap. Oh, I've just received information from one of our members in the Twitch chat that Anthony Penn retired as his pedals have disconnected from his rig and were not, I will quote, "we're going all over." So probably pitted for safety reasons there, which is probably a good idea. You know, you don't want to cause an incident due to equipment failure, but sad to see because Penn is a very fast driver. Was definitely, you know, going to be a consideration for the podium, if not the win, seeing how things were going earlier on. So yeah, it's a shame to see him retiring. So we're on board with Marino here to the last corner, just behind Noah, porpoising super early down the straight. So this setup is, I'm going to say, not as developed as some of the others, or maybe it's just as fast with the porpoising, even though it's quite disorientating when you're the driver. But just 6/10 to Amela here, so he's got closer. He's pushing quite hard on these red walled tires, which are the C4s actually. Wow, the C4s, I did not expect to see those on track.
I mean, it's not many laps to go, so if you just have your last stop coming up, then might as well go for a fast tire.
Definitely, those C4s are going to be very, very quick. They're the qualifying tire of choice by many of our drivers here. But to run them in the race, you're definitely taking a risk that they're not going to drop off. Obviously, the teams will have hopefully done practice, hopefully have tested. And in P5, Dolciotti's come into the pit lane and is also on the C4s. So Dolciotti had a nice gap to K behind and is coming out the pit lane on those C4s. So he's probably going to be going for fastest lap, and I think there's a good chance he might get it. He should have a clear track in front of him, and those C4s are going to be rapid with just 5 laps of fuel left in the car. It'll be almost quali pace. But here we are, back on board with Marino. Whoa, as he hits the wall. Whoa, what happened there? Noah Tuomela behind, in front, went into the pit lane, backed off, and Marino in avoidance hit the wall at that high speed banked corner. Could have seen a huge incident there, an airplane crash that would have been if he just got it wrong, but managed to get away with that. He's going to have a lot of damage now, but he has a 17-second gap to the car behind, 15-second gap to the car behind, so we'll be able to keep the position, I imagine. There's only 5 laps remaining, but that was very, very close there. Thought we were going to see a car retiring there from the race. Back on with the leader. There's 5 laps remaining, almost 4 laps remaining, and he is 5.2 seconds in front of Moscato, roughly maintaining that gap. Bit back and forth, but you know, 11.7 for Moscato. He's definitely pushing, definitely trying to get that gap down, maybe pressuring Shikloven into the mistake. And he is as I said, he is quite a new driver. He's just joined Formula Trout League. This is his debut season, his 3rd race here. He's already won 1, and now he's leading another. I think with this result, he would take the championship lead too. But you know, as I said, Challenger Split is for our new drivers and, you know, up and coming drivers, and maybe the pressure could get to them just a little more. But so far, Shikloven rock solid once again, just like he was at Imola. Younger GP, you know, running their junior team in Challenger Split with a fantastic signing, taking the championship, fighting for the championship in his 3rd round, which is, you know, excellent for any new driver. Would not be surprised to see him actually promoted potentially to the Master Split mid-season if he does not want to go for the championship. We've seen that before in previous seasons. You know, a driver can lead the championship in the opening rounds, and then they get the chance at Master and they jump up. In their heads, you know, maybe they've already won the Challenger Split in their head potentially, and they just want to get up to Master as soon as possible and show what they can do. Start mounting the championship challenge, or maybe helping, you know, their sister teams out in the Master Split. Obviously, Younger GP runs a huge empire of around 4 or 5 teams, 3 or 4 of them in the Master Split. So if they lose some drivers, Darian just makes a little wiggle there. If they lose some drivers, Darian might be called up to that master split. It's going to take away his Challenger split title hopes, but then it might allow, you know, one of the younger GP teams to get a much better position in the championship. We've seen it so many times before. I think Connor Pelkman's in season 1, you know, won a few rounds, was leading the championship, went up to master split. Happened, I think, through every season of Formula Trout, actually. I think Samuel Ward last season as well won the first race out and then went straight up to master and did a fantastic job. I think he got a few podiums in master as well, actually. So, you know, although he wasn't able to fight for that Challenger Championship, he definitely showed his speed, his ability in the master split. But just 2 laps remaining. Chikloven with a slow lap that time out, 1.7 seconds. Moscato gained a 2.9 second gap. It is coming down, but he might run out of time yet. Further back we have Trout getting in front of Anderson, and Trout pulling off to the side. I wonder if he made a mistake there. No, that looks like blue flag, so I believe Anderson must have made a mistake. Trout got past him and then has just let a car through. So a great job for Kilgore Trout. He's returned to racing last round and is back again this round in the end of the race. Oh, we have Jacob Anderson off here, allows Ignis into P10, drops out of the points. That is Higgledy Piggledy corner number 2, and oh, out in front. Who was that? That was Chikloven going into contact with one of the Bhutan cars, I think. Yeah, that was one of the lapped cars getting in the side of Darian, but Moscato behind is actually 5 seconds back. So wait. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that might have been Chikloven having made a mistake and a contact between Moscato and Chikloven then. I'm sorry if I missed that. I was too focused on Trout returning to racing, but yeah, Chikloven came into contact with a Bhutan car there, and I think it could have been Moscato in P2, because he set a very slow lap time that time out. So yeah, contact between the leaders, I think.
Yes, absolutely, judging by the lap times.
Yeah, so we completely missed that. I didn't expect him to close that much up. Well, there was just 2 laps left. There was 3 seconds splitting them, and somehow Chikloven must have made a mistake, and Moscato closed up, went for the overtake, and there was contact between the pair. And Moscato is now 3.5 seconds back after making that move. I wonder if Anderson, who went off in front, might have just distracted those two and caused caused them to take avoiding action or whatever, and allowed Moscato to close up. But yeah, that was. We'll have to check that afterwards for sure. Maybe we'll hear some more from the interviews. But that was a very, very spicy moment for sure. There's a lapped car actually. Looks like they're going to be wanting to unlap themselves here. Darian is on the C3 tyres, having run them for quite some time, so they're not going to be the fastest tyre in the world. Oh, he's neither here nor there. I think that was one of the Anderson brothers. Looks to the inside of Chikloven as he starts the last lap and makes a mistake. You know, he's unlapping himself. Make the move or don't. There's no in between there. You need to really, you know, make your point that I'm coming past. I'm going to drive off from you, even though you've lapped me. You can't be doing that, as we almost saw contact between the lapped car and the leader there, and we've seen that a few times before. You've seen me do that before, taking out my teammate who was leading the race, but it didn't affect anything in the end. It was okay. Christoph will confirm. Yeah,
good memories or not? Maybe not.
Well, Andreas won the race. It was okay, but yes.
I had a heart attack. Okay, I had a heart attack.
It never happened. Don't know what you're talking about. But here, on the final lap of Zandvoort, Darian Chikloven is about to round the final corner. He had contact with Moscato just a few laps ago, but is managing to stay in front. And Spencer Owens retires from P3. I don't know what happened there. We'll have to find out later. But Darian takes the win at Zandvoort. His second win of the season in only his 3rd round. So that is 2 out of 3 wins for Darian Chikloven in Formula Trout League. That is probably the highest win percentage of any driver at the moment, because he is so new here. But great job for Chikloven. Moscato in P2, and Stoyan looks like he will take P3 as Owens retires on the final lap of the race. Owens will be classified in a position because I think he'd lapped a few drivers already, but I have no
Yeah.
idea what happened there. I saw the yellow flags. We did not switch as, you know, Darian was about to cross the line, but that is Owens out of the race on the final lap, allowing Stoian to return to the podium. Quite the shock result there. No idea what happens. A big, very big crash there, but you know, we're after the race. We don't care about these things. Stoian in P3. Dolciotti will be taking an excellent P4. Definitely, because the rest of the field has been lapped. I think Owens will be classified P8 in the end, but yeah, that's a very big shock there for Owens, but Shkloven takes the win. So a great job there. But that will conclude the Challenger Split race as Darian enters the pit lane after a fantastic drive. Actually, we have to end the stream very quickly, as usual, due to the Master Split starting very soon. And yes, I was Alex Cochran. I was joined by Christoph.
Hello.
Böser.
Or rather, goodbye.
Yes, and goodbye. Thank you for watching, everyone.